Get ready to go to the Upside Down. A lot of times when I'm at thrift stores, I pick up old baseball bats like this because I think they make good building materials to turn them into all kinds of different things. This one here is going to become a cool prop from a cool show called Stranger Things. I used some fairly fine sandpaper to take the finish off the bat first. It has something like a polyurethane top coat on it, and that needed to go. When I finished, I used a rag to clean up the mess. Then I hit it with some Danish oil finish in medium walnut. This will darken up the wood to get it closer to the images of the bat from the show that I've seen online. I applied this with a rag, several coats, then hung it up by the handle to dry. Alright, looking at the couple images I was able to find online, it looks like all of the nails are kind of concentrated in this part of the bat and the barrel here. And it looks like maybe they're 12 or 14, so I'm just going to kind of randomly pick some spots here. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, let's say 12, 13, 14.
Alright, we'll see how this goes. I found a drill bit that was just about the same size as my nails, held the bat steady with a clamp, and drilled the holes by hand. I wanted the nails to go through the bat at different angles, so I couldn't use my drill press here. And I'm pre-drilling the holes because there is no way you could drive a giant spike through this bat by hand. It wasn't too difficult, and the good part is if the drill bit chips out the holes on the backside, that's fine. It's supposed to look rough. The nails I'm using are aluminum gutter spikes. They went through these pre-drilled holes pretty easily. One of the big challenges here was being able to brace the bat against the table while pounding in the nails. So I started on the bottom and worked my way up the barrel, just randomly picking which side to start the nail on. Once I got to this point, I realized a couple things. Obviously, the nails were much too long, and there didn't seem to be enough of them. So I backed some of the nails out and then bent them with the hammer to keep them from sliding all the way out. It's really just a matter of smacking on it until it looked about right. Then I took it outside and attacked it with the angle grinder. This allowed me to shorten up the long nails and take the heads off of some of the parts that I'd pounded back through so they looked nice and sharp too. Then I switched to a flap disc on my other grinder and took off all the sharp edges. I just wanted this to look dangerous. I'm not planning on actually smashing anything with it. After sanding off all the sharp edges, I went back and hit the shafts and heads of all the nails with some sandpaper. I wanted to rough them up because they look a little bit too nice and shiny. I feel like this needs to be aged and distressed. That's what I'm going to do next. Here I am working to age this with some cheap acrylic paint. I've got a collection of different colors. I started with brown and black, mixed it together and watered it down and brushed it on the nails. First I was trying to be pretty careful, then I just went a little crazy and started painting it on the bat itself and wiping some of it back off. It really seeps into the grain and makes it look even more aged. Then I touched it up with a second coat of a rusty red, just adding some red to that brown and black mix I already had. Once it all dried, I went back at it with some sandpaper and actually took off some of the paint because it was a little too thick. This is always a process of trial and error when you're trying to age something and make it look genuine. I wanted this to look like it was put together with scrounged up rusty nails, and I think it turned out pretty well in the end. This close-up shows you what I wound up with. Patchy rust, just enough shine on the tips to make them look sharp and lethal. I'm happy with how this turned out. It's a little too lethal looking. I don't think I would make something like this and take it to a convention because you're probably not going to make it through the door with it, even though these points are all dulled down so they won't hurt you. Prop building is a great way to get started with making because it allows you to take inspiration from a real object and figure out a way to make it exist so you can hold it in your hands. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Take the time to subscribe. And I like to share what I do because I really believe that makers help make more makers. I was going to test this out, but I couldn't find a Demogorgon.